For most of your life, you were fed a story that after a certain age, you're supposed to shut down parts of yourself, that desire fades, that pleasure becomes inappropriate, that men quote-unquote grow out of self-stimulation by 50 or 60. But here's the part they never said out loud. After 60, healthy self-touch isn't a sign of immaturity. It's a sign of a nervous system that's still alive. And for many older men, it's the difference between staying vibrant and quietly declining. I've spent decades listening to men who carried shame, fear, and a lifetime of misinformation. Many of them had no idea that the way they treated their own bodies for years was shaping their hormones, heart, mood, sleep, and even brain health. Today, you're going to hear the truths they were never taught. Your body isn't finished, and neither is your ability to feel connected to it. The hidden problem almost no man sees coming. Most men assume the way they've touched themselves for years is harmless, familiar, automatic, something done without thought. But the body ages and the nervous system changes, and what once felt fine can begin working against you after 60. The first truth we need to uncover is one men rarely talk about, not even to their doctors. Yet it quietly leads to numbness, erectile challenges, and emotional withdrawal. This is where everything begins. When habits become automatic, the body stops learning. And when it stops learning, it stops responding. Secret 1. Mindless, rushed stimulation can desensitize the nervous system. Over the years, countless men have told me the same thing in different words. I can't feel as much as before. It takes more effort. My body doesn't react the way it used to. Many believed something was wrong with them, but in reality, their nervous system had simply been trained into numbness. Here's why. The same grip, the same pressure, the same fast routine, the same overstimulating digital content, the same urgency to finish quickly. All of that teaches the brain to rely on one narrow pathway for arousal. And the brain learns quickly. Over time, the body stops responding to anything outside that loop, especially natural, slow, human touch. The nervous system becomes rigid instead of responsive. It's not dysfunction, it's conditioning, and the consequences are real. Reduced sensitivity, weaker erections, delayed climax, difficulty responding without artificial stimulation, emotional frustration, and withdrawal. It's not the problem of age. It's the habitual, disconnected stimulation that trains the brain to expect only one very specific type of sensation. Your body isn't failing. You've just been teaching it the wrong lessons. The good news is, it can learn new ones. A deeper loss than physical sensation. Most men don't realize this. Loss of sensitivity isn't just physical. It affects how you see yourself, how you connect with others, and even how you carry your confidence. When you feel less in your body, you often feel less in your life. This is why so many older men begin to avoid intimacy, not because they don't want it, but because they fear it won't work. But the nervous system is resilient. It can relearn. You can rebuild sensation. We'll get to that. But at first, there's an even more common mistake, and society actually praises it. When you withdraw from your own body, you slowly withdraw from life. Reconnection is possible. Secret 3. Regular release helps reduce prostate congestion. Many older men carry a belief that once they hit 60 or 70, their sexual system is supposed to go dormant. Nothing could be further from the truth. Your prostate continues producing fluid throughout your life, but when that fluid isn't released, it becomes stagnant. This can lead to pelvic heaviness, nighttime urination, weak urinary stream, pressure or discomfort, irritation and inflammation. Most men assume it's normal aging, but often it's simply congestion, a buildup of fluid that the prostate was never designed to store long-term. Regular release, whether through intimacy or healthy solo touch, helps keep the system moving, reduces inflammation, and supports long-term prostate health. Several large-scale studies show men with more frequent ejaculation have lower risks of prostate-related complications later in life. Your prostate isn't meant to retire. Keeping it active keeps it healthy. The emotional weight no one talks about. There is a silence that follows many older men around. Not anger, not sadness, just silence, especially around sexuality. Many were raised in families or cultures that labeled self-touch as dirty, weak, immoral, or childish. Those messages don't disappear. They settle deep inside. And shame changes the body. It tightens the muscles, raises stress hormones, disrupts sleep, weakens immunity, interferes with arousal, and over time, it erodes confidence and emotional warmth. Let's break that silence. Secret 3. Shame blocks the body's natural chemistry. Touch, healthy, mindful, private touch, is not just physical. It supports dopamine, motivation, oxytocin, connection, bonding, calm, serotonin, mood stability, endorphins, stress relief. Shame interrupts all of them. A man disconnected from his body often becomes disconnected from his joy, his spirit, his emotional clarity. I have seen men come back to life simply by giving themselves permission to reconnect without guilt. Your body deserves curiosity, not criticism, and reconnecting with it reconnects you with life. The hormone no man can ignore. By the time many men reach their 60s, they assume testosterone simply slips away on its own. Age becomes the scapegoat for every change. Lower energy, reduced strength, slower motivation, softer mood, fading desire. But here's the overlooked truth. Your lifestyle signals your hormones what to do, and nothing sends a stronger signal than your relationship with pleasure, connection, and touch. Your biology is always listening. Secret 4. Healthy sexual engagement helps maintain testosterone. Testosterone doesn't disappear because you get older. It declines faster when the body stops experiencing stimulation, anticipation, and the emotional spark that once kept your inner engine running. Think of testosterone as a flame. Age doesn't extinguish it, disuse does. When men withdraw from sexual expression, alone or with someone, the brain interprets it as he doesn't need this system anymore, so it lowers production. But when a man reconnects with his own desire, gently, intentionally, without pressure, the brain makes the opposite assumption. He still needs vitality, drive, energy, and circulation. That single shift can influence mood, muscle maintenance, bone strength, cardiovascular health, sleep quality, motivation, cognitive sharpness. This is why some older men feel decades younger when they reawaken this part of themselves. It restores a system their body had quietly turned down. Testosterone responds to engagement, not age. When you show your body you still want to live fully, it listens. The hidden system most men don't realize is at risk. Now let's address something even more vital than hormones, something many men avoid discussing until it's already changed. Erectile strength. Not as a symbol of masculinity, but as a marker of circulatory and nerve health. Your heart and your erection are far more connected than most men realize. Secret 5. Erectile function is a use-it-or-lose-it system. After 60, a surprising number of men stopped caring about maintaining erections, especially if they're widowed, divorced, living alone, or not currently in a relationship. They say things like, "I don't need it anymore. What's the point?" That chapter is closed. But biology doesn't work that way. The tissues inside the penis depend on regular oxygenation and blood flow. If they don't get it, they begin to stiffen and deteriorate exactly the same way any unused muscle does. Here's what happens when erections become rare. Smooth muscle fibers weaken. Blood vessels lose elasticity. Nitric oxide production drops. Nerve communication slows. Fibrosis, internal scarring, begins. Responsiveness declines. This decline has nothing to do with desire. It's simply the result of disuse. Regular erections, whether from partnered intimacy or healthy solo touch, keep the entire system functioning. They maintain circulation, they preserve nerve quality, they improve vascular flexibility, they support long-term erectile health. This is why an erection is sometimes called the check engine light for the heart. Keeping erectile function alive isn't about sex. It's about preserving circulation, confidence, and long-term health. The modern trap affecting millions. But even men who are active, whether with someone or alone, face a different challenge. A challenge that didn't exist decades ago, one that quietly rewires the brain. We're talking about digital overstimulation, and the modern brain simply wasn't built for it. Secret 6. High stimulation content can desensitize the brain, but you can rewire it. Today's digital world offers endless novelty, speed, and intensity. For younger brains, that alone can be overwhelming. For older nervous systems, already more sensitive to overload, it can change how the brain responds to real touch. Every time you consume high-intensity erotic content, your brain receives a surge of dopamine, your reward chemical. But over time, the brain adapts. It becomes harder to feel excitement naturally. Simple touch feels dull compared to digital extremes. Arousal becomes dependent on novelty. Erections may weaken without visual stimulation. Real intimacy feels too slow, even though it's healthier. This isn't a moral issue, it's a neurochemical one. The brain is plastic. It reshapes based on what you feed it. The good news? It can heal the same way. Many older men regain sensitivity when they reduce high-intensity digital content, spend 30 days using imagination instead of screens, rebuild arousal through slow, mindful touch, reconnect with the body instead of pixels. Within weeks, the nervous system begins recalibrating. Men often report stronger erections, faster arousal, more powerful climax, more emotional warmth, a return of spark they thought was gone. You're not broken. The brain simply needs a reset. Your brain can relearn pleasure. You can reclaim sensitivity. You can feel fully again. We've talked about habits, hormones, blood flow, and even how the brain gets reshaped over time. But there's one truth deeper than all of that, a truth most men never see coming. Because the thing that damages an older man the most isn't bad habits, and it isn't screens. It's something far quieter, something that creeps in slowly, almost without being noticed. It's isolation. Not just from people, but from touch, from closeness, from your own body. This is the silent force that wears men down. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but inch by inch. And for many older men, it becomes the turning point where life starts to feel smaller, colder, and strangely empty. That's why this final message might be the most important message you'll ever hear.
Secret 7. The most dangerous enemy: isolation from your own body. Of all the risks men face as they age, heart issues, low hormones, prostate trouble, there is one that quietly makes everything worse: not disease, not desire, but isolation. And I don't just mean living alone, I'm talking about a deeper kind of isolation. No one hugs you. No one holds your hand. You stop reaching for touch. You stop reaching for yourself. Not because you don't want it, but because somewhere along the way you were told you're too old for that part of life. Many older men slowly drift into a touchless existence. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and the body goes quiet. But touch is not a luxury, it's a biological requirement. When touch disappears, the body responds. Oxytocin, the connection hormone, drops. Cortisol, the stress hormone, creeps up. Blood pressure rises. Sleep gets worse. The immune system weakens. Mood and memory start to dull. And perhaps the most painfully, the sense of aliveness fades. You stop imagining good things for yourself. You stop feeling deserving of warmth, comfort, or closeness. You begin to feel like a ghost in your own life. All because touch left the room and you believed it had to. Isolation doesn't start when others stop touching you. It often starts when you stop touching yourself with care. The silent drift away from yourself. For many men, isolation doesn't arrive with a dramatic event. It arrives slowly. One day you skip your usual routines. Then you stop looking in the mirror. Then you stop thinking about pleasure at all. What started as, "I don't need this anymore," becomes, "I don't feel anything anymore." And here's the painful part. The body hasn't given up on you. It's simply waiting for a signal that you're still here. That signal can be as simple as a hand on your chest, a gentle stroke of your own arm, a private moment of intentional touch, a breath taken just for you. These might seem small, but they're messages. They tell your brain and nervous system, I'm still alive. I still matter. I still want to feel. You may feel alone, but you are not abandoned by your body. It's waiting for you to come back. Bringing the 7 secrets together. Let's gather everything you've just heard, because this isn't just information, it's a map back to yourself. You discovered that 1. Mindless, rushed stimulation can desensitize your nervous system and train your body into numbness. 2. Avoiding ejaculation completely can leave your prostate congested and irritated instead of protected. 3. Shame around your own body acts like poison, raising stress and draining joy. 4. Healthy sexual engagement, even solo, helps support testosterone, which fuels energy, strength, mood, and drive. 5. Erectile function is a use it or lose it system linked directly to blood flow and heart health. 6. High-intensity digital content can rewire your brain, but that wiring can be reset. 7. Isolation from touch and connection quietly drains your spirit, health, and sense of self. All of these point to one truth. Your relationship with your own body is not a side story. It is central to how you age. And no matter how many years you've lived, you can still change that relationship. You can still reconnect. You can still rebuild sensitivity. You can still feel alive, grounded, and present in your own skin. Your age is a number. Your aliveness is a decision. The daily ritual, 10 minutes to reconnect with your body. Now let's turn understanding into action. I want to share a simple daily practice, a 10-minute ritual you can do alone, in private, in a safe and respectful way. Think of it not as a sexual routine, but as a nervous system reset, a way to remind your body that you're still home. You can do this in the morning, before bed, or whenever you can be undisturbed. Step 1. Create a safe space. Sit or lie down somewhere comfortable. Turn off distractions, TV, phone, news. Take 3 slow breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Quietly say to yourself, this time is for me. I'm allowed to feel. This simple intention alone begins to shift your nervous system. Step 2. Reconnect with breath and body. Place one hand on your chest and one on your belly. Feel the rise and fall as you breathe. On each exhale, let your shoulders soften a little more. For 1 to 2 minutes, just breathe and notice the warmth under your hands, the weight of your body being supported, the small movements of your ribs and abdomen. You're telling your body, I'm here, I'm listening. Step 3. Introduce gentle, non-rushed touch. Now begin to gently touch your own body in a way that feels respectful and calming. Your arms, your legs, your chest, your abdomen, wherever feels safe and comfortable, even your intimate areas if you choose. The key is slowness. No rushing, no goal, no pressure to perform. Just gentle, curious touch. Notice texture of your skin, changes in temperature, any areas that feel numb, tender, or alive. If arousal appears, let it be there. If it doesn't, that's okay too. This isn't a test. It's a conversation with your body. Step 4. Shift from outcome to awareness. For many years, you may have been focused only on finishing as quickly as possible. In this ritual, you do the opposite. The goal is not climax. The goal is connection. If you choose to include gentle sexual touch, keep your breath slow, avoid gripping too tightly, let yourself pause when sensitivity increases. Focus more on feeling than on finishing. If you notice old habits, rushing, tensing, holding your breath, simply slow down and soften again. You're teaching your nervous system a new pattern: safe, steady, calm pleasure. Step 5. Close with gratitude, not judgment. After 5 to 10 minutes, place your hands back on your chest or belly. Take a few breaths and quietly thank your body. Thank you for carrying me this far. Thank you for still being willing to feel. Do not judge the experience. It doesn't matter if you felt a lot or a little. It doesn't matter if you became aroused or not. What matters is this: you showed up. You chose connection over avoidance. You told your body, I'm still here. The ritual is not about perfection. It's about presence. Small, consistent moments of connection create big changes over time. Your next chapter starts with one choice. If you stayed with this message to the end, it means something inside you is still reaching. Maybe you felt numb. Maybe you felt ashamed. Maybe you've believed your best years are behind you. But your body disagrees. Every organ, every cell, every nerve is still listening to how you treat yourself today. You are not too old to feel pleasure. You are not too old to feel wanted, even by yourself. You are not too old to feel confident. You are not too old to feel powerful. You are not too old to feel at peace in your own skin. You don't need anyone's permission to reclaim that. So here's the invitation. For the next 7 days, give yourself just 10 minutes a day to practice this ritual. No pressure, no expectations, no rush. Just you, your breath, your hands, and a quiet decision. I am not done feeling alive. You may be surprised at what starts to change. A little more spark in your eyes, a little more strength in your step, a little more warmth in your mood, a little more pride in the man you still are. Because in the end, this isn't a video about masturbation. It's about claiming your right to stay fully human, with a body that feels, a heart that cares, and a spirit that refuses to fade quietly. Age may change your body, but you decide whether it takes your aliveness. Choose to stay in the game.